Well, I'm hopeful that I'm going to be able to get through this particular short video today because we are in the middle of a couple of things going on. Number one, it's been very, very dry. The wind has picked up. Going to be very windy tomorrow. A lot of dust in the air because of that. That's the high desert that we live in. Plus, we've got smoke in the sky again, coming in mainly from the wildfires on the jet stream from California, breathing that in. And it's harvest season. So you've got all of these little tiny things floating around in the air too as well. And over the last few days, I've been doing a lot of that. I did bring in a cup of coffee that I sip just in case. I figured this might help me out a little bit if I needed it. Hey, a couple of things I want to talk about. I'll get to the story about this unknown virus in just a moment. But on a lighter note, I'm hoping I'm going to have lunch tomorrow with a friend of mine. It's one of those opportunities I get once a week on Mondays to get away and just sit down for lunch. And it just takes the load of the world off my shoulders. I completely forget for a couple of hours all my, what you might call your worries in life. Not that I'm a worrywart by any means, but it takes those off my shoulders. I was telling her last week she had a beautiful head of hair. I have still not told her that the first time I happened to see her was about 5 years ago. And my first thought when I saw her was, she's very pretty. I haven't told her that because I saw her for the very first time at a funeral home. And I'm not quite so sure how you tell somebody in a romantic way, yeah, at the funeral home, I thought you were really, really pretty. Uh, it was at the funeral home as a conference room, and I was speaking on a subject in the conference room as a guest of some political activists, and she happened to be there. So we weren't anywhere near the folks who were embalmed in the boxes. They were in another part of the building, and through separate doors, I should point out. I wanted to mention something. Embalming is an interesting choice of words there because they pump that into a person who's no longer with us to help keep them fresh, I guess, during the course of the mourning period. But I had a conversation yesterday with a friend, and I'm praying for him because he's got some heart issues and some other health issues. A few days ago, he thought that he was feeling feverish and he was having some other issues that were related to his GI, and he went to see a doctor, and they thought perhaps he may have been infected with COVID. He has a job where he has a lot of what you'd call, he's in one sense, he's a judge. He doesn't necessarily sit there with a black robe and in a courtroom and criminal trials or the like, but he does administrative work. And people come in and they have to meet with him, and there's testimony and the like. And there was a belief that perhaps he had been exposed to COVID in one of those hearings that he conducts. Well, they sent him off to a hospital in Philadelphia where he's been tested 3 times for COVID. They can find nothing along those lines. They did say, though, that he has a blood infection and he has a virus that they can't figure out what it is. The doctors, that is. They don't know what exactly he has. Now, is it a virus that have they seen it before? Well, if they have, it hasn't crossed them yet that it's something they've come across before. So if he's got something and it's unidentified, that worries me a little bit because I'm not in that camp that says COVID came out of a secret lab and was on purpose thrust upon the world, although you could see how some madmen might want to do that because they want to get rid of a particular person occupying the U.S. White House who has, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way around the world over the last 4 years. And if this could help push him out the door, you could see how someone could have this grand design. And you've got a lot of people around the world, powerful people, who really don't care if a few million die if they get what they ultimately want. You're just, what was it Stalin said? When you get up into these really large numbers, and I'm paraphrasing, that's just a statistic. And so I think sometimes they end up looking at it that way. You always wonder, too, would the people who came up with something like this, would they have ensured that they gave themselves a vaccination in the first place and then unloaded it on the rest of the world? Now, if COVID didn't have the desired effect, perhaps somebody has designed a second virus and is unleashing that upon us. I talked to my friend who said, this virus, how did he put it? It's taking over my bloodstream. So it continues to replicate. And he says he's feeling a little bit better, but he still has some pretty serious health issues to go along with this. So the question is, are people, and I hate to be a conspiracy theorist, But are there people out there who maybe even have seen if coronavirus, and I still believe it was an accidental release, but if coronavirus has taught us one thing is it is that you can cripple a particular culture, a society, and you can bring down the economy of that country or many countries, and you can get rid of people in leadership that you don't like without firing a shot. So you stand back and you say to yourself, it is very possible that COVID taught a lesson to some very evil people around the world, and they could well be on their way to unleashing even more, what you might call maladies, on the general public until they get the optimum, that is, what they want. I do want to mention Jake Smith is going to be with me in a short while. We're going to be co-hosting a program today for Boardwalk Potatoes. If you like our videos, now please hit the subscribe button that you can find on YouTube. You can also leave any comments. I have to admit, I've been remiss about reading some of the comments. Some of them seem to be coming in from XXX websites. So I'm not necessarily going to be paying much attention to those. But if you have a comment or a suggestion for a topic you want us to talk about, please feel free to leave that in the comments section below. And again, I'm going to be on vacation for my regular job for a few days, Labor Day week, but hope to see you all again on the radio in my regular day job come next Friday, September 11th.